Garden bumblebees are amazing because, like all bees, they are so important to our ecosystems. Bees are crucial for pollinating plants, and these plants often provide the basis of life for so many other species. For example, by pollinating plants, they provide a habitat for many other insects. These insects then become food for small birds and bats, and the plants that they pollinate are important cover for animals like frogs and hedgehogs, which then become prey. It's not just wildlife that relies on bees, we do too. They pollinate around a third of all the food we eat. Garden bumblebees are particularly amazing because they have the longest tongue of all our bumblebees. Their tongue can be up to 2 centimetres in length, which is as long as its own body. This means they can reach the nectar of flowers with narrow long heads like foxgloves. It also gives them an advantage over other bees and ensures these plants are pollinated. Well, as the name suggests, you can spot them in your garden, as well as meadows, parks and woodlands. But with around 250 species of bee in the UK, and of those 24 are bumblebees, how would you tell them apart? Well, garden bumblebees have long faces. Their upper body has one narrow yellow stripe at the top and one at the bottom, while their lower body has just one narrow yellow stripe at the top and a white tail. Some people also describe them as scruffy because their fluffy bodies often look a bit ruffled. They're commonly found across foxgloves, so that's a good place to start, and they are widespread across the UK. Another species that may be visiting foxgloves is the common carder bee, but that one is yellowy ginger all over and has a longer face. Two bumblebee species in the UK went extinct in the 20th century, and another 8 are currently extremely threatened. It would be terrible if the garden bumblebee went the same way, and it is at risk of doing so. There are 2 main threats to bumblebees: loss of habitat and use of pesticides. Only 3% of the UK's wildflower meadows still exist today. Also, gardens are now becoming less wild, with plastic lawns, no or very few flowers, and more paving or decking than natural space. That means not only do garden bumblebees struggle to find suitable places to breed and nest, but their food supply is tragically low too. As farming practices intensify and more pesticides are used, our countryside is less colourful, and bees are struggling to find nectar throughout the seasons. You can help garden bumblebees by mowing your lawn less often, planting wildflower seeds, leaving wild patches in your garden, and allowing some weeds to grow. Having more wildflowers in your garden will provide a vital source of nectar for bees to feed on. You can also encourage others to do the same. It's really important we start growing nectar-rich plants and reconnecting these habitats across Yorkshire. So you could speak to your neighbours, write to your council, or donate seeds to community groups. Across Yorkshire, we are managing over 3,000 hectares of land, including sites like Ashes Pasture, Town Close Hills and Warham Quarry Nature Reserve, which are meadow sites rich in wildflowers. This provides habitat and nectar to these amazing and important animals. From the first signs of new life in spring through to the changing leaves of autumn, our nature reserves always have flowers in bloom, which offer garden bumblebees, as well as other pollinators, a vital source of nectar when gardens and verges are sometimes otherwise bare. But we can't rely on just nature reserves. That's why we are working with councils to encourage them to plant wildflowers and cut grass verges and parklands less often, as well as working with schools, community groups and developers to ensure more of Yorkshire is covered in a mosaic of wildflowers. There's so much we can do to help wildlife recover if we have the support to get it done.